Hello, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This is the Velco weather brief for Tuesday, July the 29th. We're going to start with the big picture here looking at North America. And this is valid for this afternoon on Tuesday, the 29th of July. We have an area of low pressure in the upper levels. This is at 500 millibars or 500 hectopascals. And so about 20,000 feet aloft. We have a big ridge of higher pressure over portions of western Canada, extends down, of course, into the drought-stricken areas of the west. Area of low pressure that's kind of blocked off, a cutoff low, generally circulating a little bit south and east of Hudson Bay. Occasionally that brings us bouts of cooler air, and also semi-locked up right now, kind of a blocking pattern. We have the Gulf of Alaska low that's very, very common for this time of year. Let's run the numbers here very quickly. And what we're looking at is over the next 10 days, really not a whole lot of change. Again, this is the upper levels of the atmosphere, which kind of is the driver at the jet stream level. And you can see that from time to time, this trough of lower pressure over parts of eastern Canada sort of weakens a bit and then strengthens. And this has been happening basically on about a 7-day cycle. But for the next 10 days, there's not really a whole lot of change, except for that upper level system kind of opening out and into a trough of low pressure. At 850 millibars here is what we're looking at. You can see cooler air signified by 4 degrees, 8 degrees Celsius. This is where all the warmth is, and it sort of works its way up into western Canada. Again, cooler air up to the north with this trough, and occasionally it kind of drops on in. Not a whole lot of change in the overall weather pattern, however. And you can see over the next 10 days, really not a big change from right here. That's current, 10 days away, same pattern. And this is the European model, again valid currently at Tuesday this afternoon, 18Z, 2 o'clock this afternoon. This is precipitation really from yesterday. But as we run the accumulated precipitation, you can see where the main storm tracks are. This is that old frontal boundary that's off the coast. And some jet stream energy starts to produce a little bit of showers and accumulated precipitation across our neck of the woods here. Looks like there's another storm track that develops out of the Rockies and through portions of Oklahoma and eventually into the southeast United States. Again, this is 10-day precipitation. And we'll stop it right here at about 240 hours and give you the total amount here. So roughly right here we're looking at totals in Vermont roughly between, I'm going to say 1 to about 1.75 inches. And that's a 10-day precipitation amount, so precipitation is going to relax a little bit. You might notice that off to the north of us, it does look pretty hefty. And this is the current surface chart here. It shows highs and lows and whatnot. And running these for the next 10 days here, you can see how the weather system's set up with precipitation, of course, in green, and a little bit of a monsoon kind of setting up across parts of the west here coming up, looks like next week. But let's start it real quickly. So we have a pretty good weather in store right now. No precip, no precip, no precip until we probably get to around Thursday. And then we'll start to see that precipitation working across the region. That's going to be our next bout for showers and thunderstorms right there. That's valid at 2 p.m. on Thursday afternoon. It looks like the precipitation works on through in the afternoon, and then by evening hours, we dry out. Things wind down pretty quickly for this next bout for Thursday. And incidentally, these thunderstorms on Thursday look to be more of benign nature, less severe, but we'll have to watch them. But you can see the next bout, a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity as we get into the late in the day on Friday, although I'm discounting that a little bit. I think as we get into Saturday and Sunday, we'll see our next chances for showers and thunderstorms. And at this point in time, it's very difficult this far out to see whether or not these are going to be severe, but it does look like we'll have something in the neighborhood here. So will it get humid? Well, we see these cooler temperatures here, basically dew points in the 40s, and eventually some of that works back to the north. You can see it's mostly holding off to the southeast of our region, but looking at it over the next 10 days, not too many real humid days as it appears right now. Parts of the southern United States, of course, stuck in deep humidity. but even they see a little bit of cooling right here in the early part through Friday, and then a little bit higher dew point temperatures kind of work back into Vermont. And looking at that specifically, those days affected right here, that's above 65 degrees dew point. That would be valid on Friday afternoon. And then we get into Saturday, not quite, just a little bit to the north of us. And then looking at Sunday, which will also feature some showers and thunderstorms, it looks like those dew point temperatures are down just a bit. So we're talking basically 60 to 65. Not super humid with the moist, deep tropical air really holding off to the south of our region. Okay, focusing in our next chance for showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. These are convective available potential energy, or CAPES, and measurement of a metric on the amount of instability in the atmosphere to force updrafts and cause thunderstorms. And updraft strength means usually more severe weather. So looking at these capes on Thursday, this would be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You're starting to see, some very light capes here. Nothing real major. A little heavier in the Adirondack Mountains about 2 p.m. And then on by 0Z, which would be 8 p.m. in the evening, the capes are starting to fall apart a bit. But we're looking at some updraft strengths for sure and some thunderstorm activity that'll affect us on Thursday. It does look like things fall off very rapidly as we get into the evening hours as capes disappear. And looking at shear, you can see Vermont here. It doesn't appear that there's really going to be any kind of issues as we run it here every 3 hours. Looks like the shear is really going to be well off to the east of us, and even through 21Z or later in the afternoon. A little stronger shear perhaps across southeastern Vermont on Thursday evening, and that's going to be about it. It looks like fairly benign thunderstorm activity based off the latest information here. And we'll check the temperature sent up center line on Montpelier, Vermont. You can see Tuesday's highs. This is what we call a meteogram, and you can see 70 degrees here, 75 degrees on that horizontal line, 80 degrees here. So here's our model consensus or ensembles of various different models. And you can see where they're landing basically a cool day for basically Tuesday. We get into Tuesday night, a rather cool night. Wednesday's high temperature, a little bit warmer in the vicinity of 70 to 75. And another cool night, and then kind of similar conditions. But you see there's no real warm days, so no real issues for heat indices. It looks like we're going to see a gradual warming trend as we get into later in the week, and then it just basically kind of levels off with temperatures around 75. Now, along about Monday of next week, maybe a possibility of hitting a little bit over 80 degrees. Let's check dew point temperatures, and as I slide this up, there's your dew point right here. And so very dry conditions with that northwesterly flow right now for the next couple of days, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then as you get into Thursday, those dew point temperatures will start to make a bit of a rise, but not really very humid. We're talking 55 to 60 dew points. Now this is the GFS. It may be keying off something, but it looks like late in the day we do spike up between 60 and 65 dew points. And then we fall back at night, and those dew points then continue to spike up the next few days as we head into this coming weekend, and then starts to drop down a little bit with probably some drier air following a cold front. And a quick check on the tropics and the Atlantic hurricane basin. We have actually a Cape Verde storm. A couple easterly waves have moved off the coast of western Africa, headed westbound. And this particular disturbance here, called Invest 93, has got everybody's attention, and it's a big hullabaloo right now. It looks like there's a very strong chance it could become tropical storm and even possibly Hurricane Bertha, a Cape Verde storm. A lot of time to organize itself. And right now it's just an area of disturbed weather, but a good 70% chance of cyclone formation over the course of the next couple of days. Here's the latest model track of Invest 93. It looks like it's going to be taking a track curving ever so slightly to the right and putting it somewhere a little bit north and east of the Bahamas. Latest thinking is this might go between Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, and Bermuda, and somewhere in this vicinity here. Something worth watching. We'll be keeping a very close eye on it, but right now I don't see a threat.